masters of horror.
Welcome to the Scariest Things Podcast, your gateway to the trends and tropes of the horror genre. And once again, it's spooky time. Spooky time number 5. And I'm your host, Eric Lee. And tonight I have with me
Liz Williams
and
Robert Zilbauer.
Mike Campbell is currently on a train to Vancouver.
Okay.
Yes, to Busan.
Between this world and the next.
Yes.
And he's unable to make it, but we'll bring him back on next week because you know what? We're doing this weekly.
Yep.
And for those of you who have just joined our little endeavor, our YouTube endeavor here, we are trying to capture a week's worth of horror tidbits and allowing us to talk about things that we sometimes don't get a chance to talk about on our long format programming. So books and games and movies that we just saw. So it's not themed. It's just what our impressions of horror over the week. So
it's a 20-minute horror ramble.
Yeah. So my week last week was just a little quick aside. I went and saw the Portland Horror Film Festival. Actually, no, it was the HP Lovecraft Film Festival. So Gwen and Brian did a presentation about the Lovecraft, all the movies that for HP Lovecraft that they could cram into 45 minutes. And it was a great presentation, but it was just like bam, 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 and movies you'd never heard of. I mean, that's the thing about the HP Lovecraft Film Festival, that they go out there and people tend to think, well, you got Reanimator and you got From Beyond, and what else is in there? It's like, well, there's a ton of stuff.
There's a ton.
and they put on a class. But Rose City Comic Con, I got myself a little stuffy monster.
Oh.
So
cute. That's
this is a it's a Dungeons and Dragons monster.
It's a mimic.
It's a mimic. Yes, I saw it. I gotta get that. It's
of course, everyone knows a mimic. Come on.
And I think Liz is going to South by Southwest, where that movie is going to debut, and you will see one of those things. I think if you see the movie. I mean, the timing because you're probably getting in a little too late.
No, it is not even close to opening night. It is not even during. So South by Southwest film opens on Friday and closes on Tuesday. That's when they have the awards. They continue to run film through the music festival, but it's usually the secondary shows, and that's when that's coming. So it will be showing after the awards. So I don't know if that bodes well, but I did tell Mike, because if we're both going, I said, you can cover that one because I'm not waiting in line for it. So
yeah, no, it's probably
I'm not.
I don't know that Mike would. If it was me or Robert, we grew up playing the game. Yeah. So I'm in the trailers look great. It ain't horror.
Oh, Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, I was going Evil Dead. Yes, I'll get in line for that because I love Chris Pine.
Yes. Easy on the eyes, Chris Pine.
Yes, he is.
It's a fantastic cast. And actually, they look like they know that they actually threw a decent budget at it. The previous one was a complete embarrassment, but we're not here to talk about the fantasy genre. We're here to talk about the horror genre.
That's our other podcast. Yeah.
So I know Liz was she had to flee the horde that descended upon New Orleans that is known as Mardi Gras.
Some people love it. I did it for years and years and years, and it's not for me anymore. So I flew.
Probably different if you live there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, people who love it, and that's cool. I'm just rather than be outside in a costume, drinking and dancing for 10 hours, I want to be in a theater with my popcorn and my horror movie friends, seeing how many movies we can fit in 10 hours. So, hey, I'm an inside kid, to each his own. Yeah. Yep. But so I went to Rome, and while I was there, I got to visit Dario Argento's store and museum, Profondo
Yeah.
Rosso. Yes.
Nice.
So the store is kind of weird. It's very small. It is filled with horror treasures and a lot of costumes, like kind of crappy, out of the, like you'd go to Spirit Halloween costumes.
Oh no.
Yeah, so not like costumes from the movie.
So it's not props. It's not like going to Movie Madness and you go, oh my God, that's actually what that Audrey Hepburn wore from My Fair Lady, and it's like, no, it's like
it is like, hey, that's Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz in a plastic,
it's a plastic
bag that
costume.
I could buy. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's a sexy COVID nurse.
Exactly.
Oh, Dario.
In the basement, though, if you pay your €5, you can descend 2 at a time the dark circular staircase.
And they stab you.
Yeah, I know. I think Wayne might have wished they did. He was like, I should have saved him €5. But no. So you go down this hall, and on each side of the hall, there is like little dungeons with stuff from Dario Argento movies, and there's a audio track playing above you. The problem is, as you get further to the end of the dungeon, you can't hear it because it's at the front of the dungeon. So this is a labor of love, and not really a, you're not at the Galleria Borghese, like you're in the basement of a costume shop. But they have props from a lot of his movies, such as Phenomena, Opera, Demons, The Church, and the Stendhal Syndrome. Nothing from Suspiria, unfortunately.
What about Profondo Rosso?
Well, no, except for the name. But they had good, fun stuff, treasures, magnets, books. Oh, it's
there it is.
Books, and some of them are coming your way.
Scariest
Things hosts, or when you come
Thank you,
to
Scariest
Overlook,
Liz.
you'll be getting stuff and mailing to Robert. Everybody else gets it in person. So it was fun. It was worth going to. If you're a horror fan, it's just kind of one of those, hey, I'm here. You have to do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like it might have been just run by Dario's nephew or something.
It could be. The lady that worked there was very nice, but it's just one person. There was just 2 other people when we walked in. They went, did the basement thing, and then walked right out. So there was no line to get in. I don't think I'd make a special trip to go.
Although
but
it
if you
kind of
happen
sounds
to
like
be
you
in
made
Rome, if you happen to be in Rome and you are walking to the Vatican, you are on your way to Profondo Rosso.
Oh,
yeah.
Naturally, yeah.
It is
towards the Vatican.
Toward the Vatican. It was in between
cell phones.
Right on the way to the Vatican. So it was not out of our way. But
that's awesome.
When in Rome, literally. Profondo Rosso. So my other real quick thing is HBO Max just placed their straight to series order for Welcome to Derry. So they were talking about it. What am I looking forward to?
Yep.
It's in. Andrew Muschietti, who did It and It Chapter 2 recently, is going to direct multiple episodes in the series, including the first episode. And so that is greenlit. It's happening, and hopefully we should be getting it this year.
Nice.
They said,
I'm looking forward to that
we
one
want.
Too.
Yeah, we want.
Yeah.
We got that HBO money now. Crank out some episodes.
Okay, Robert, what about you?
I have something that I'm doing a long distance dedication to Scariest Liz and Scariest Mike as our in-house readers at the Scariest Things. If you see behind me,
yes,
night worms.
Okay,
working on my night worms. I think that's probably
there are some moves that go with that.
But what it is, it's it's run by these 2 women. Don't call it a crate, like one of those loot crate things.
Right.
they apparently have worked for those companies and have repped for those companies, and they don't like those companies. So they are a book-centric themed monthly package that comes with and it's all like I mean, it's not the Stephen Kings of the world. It's like the your people, like the Grady, what's his name, and
Grady Hendrix.
Yeah.
Grady Hendrix. Yeah. Those kind of guys, the independent horror writers.
Mm-hmm.
And so they usually have at least one book. Sometimes they have two. It's a monthly thing, and they also put in like some random little widgets for you, but not like you won't be overrun by t-shirts you don't want to wear and shot glasses that you'll never use and that kind of stuff.
Junk.
Junk, yeah. And one of the coolest things, although also at the same time one of the more frustrating things, is they're growing their little business very carefully. So I think they started out around the same time we did.
Okay.
2018 maybe.
Mm-hmm. That would put us, that would square that up nicely.
So they've been going since then, and they only open up new subscriptions when they can manage to do a new bunch of people in addition to their current people.
Right.
So the subscription.
Man, this sounds like a Liz Williams.
I know. I just signed up for their newsletter.
Yeah. And I think from what I understand, openings should be coming up in April.
Ooh, all right. Mark my calendars.
In theory. So maybe if you're on the list, you might get some information about that. They're also on Instagram and Twitter, and they're every other place. But I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, Mike and Liz gotta know about this.
There.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, email them and say.
Very cool. If they
me
send
on
out audiobooks, that'd be great for me.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It's like sending out an audiobook is like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Just give you a download. You just need a download.
So for me, my plan A was go see Cocaine Bear and report, because that was going to be so much fun.
You were spoiled by snow, actual snow, not blow snow.
Exactly. It snowed so hard in Portland that shut the train system down, and it took me an hour to walk home, and I fell down a couple of times. It was really awful. And
I got mauled by a bear.
Yeah. And Eric's like, I could survive in the Outpost 31. I could do it.
No, it's like I would totally. I would have been I was an Erixicle by the time I got home. It was really
as grouchy as Cocaine Bear.
Yeah,
it was really. I was ready to go hurt some people. But then I decided to take a bath instead. So that's not what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, don't talk about your bath.
Not Cocaine Bear, and not the bath.
So we have been invited. This is one of my favorite times of the year because and Robert probably knows this better than Liz, but I'm a big sports fan, and this is the annual time coming up on March Madness. And we have been invited by a sister podcast, the Jersey Ghouls.
Yep.
And this is Marissa and Jackie. They had found out about us because we did our speed round thing, and they loved our speed round, and so then they said we wanted to at some point to do a podcast with you, and so Liz and I are going to join them, and they sent out the list of their of what the bracket looks like, and it's 32 zombie movies this time is what they're going to do. They like a long podcast. It's going to take a while. It's probably going to take 2 sessions. But they also they were kind enough to send us the roster of the movies that they're going to do. And so I, being the sports fan, and they haven't given us the matchups, but they gave us the entrance. And so this is like in ESPN parlance, this is bracketology. And there's a guy named Joe Lunardi who gets out there and he talks about, predicting the futures, and everybody prognosticates who's going to advance and who got snubbed and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to break down before we go, because this is the way that these March Madness brackets tend to work, is everybody talks the shit out of it before they actually do it. Then they play, then the brackets get
Duke busted, and you win a couple bucks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's and in this case, it's probably you pick Dawn of the Dead. or Train to Busan,
Yeah.
who I think would be my betting favorites on this. I think Dawn of the Dead is the number 2 seed. The number 1 seed is Night of the Living Dead.
No, I don't think these are seeded yet.
Oh, okay. Well, that
list.
was when they listed a 1 to 32, but they haven't done the matchups yet. We don't know who they're playing. But I would think that if going into this, probably Dawn of the Dead and Train to Busan would be my favorites. I think that if we went by their list and said, okay, this is sort of a rough ranking, I think they underseeded 28 Days Later. I think Jackie over there is not a fan, and I will fight her to the death on 28 Days Later because it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
So have the two of you seen all 32 movies?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'll get to that because there are some that I haven't seen.
I have one
and
to watch.
So there's homework also.
Yeah, there is some homework. The sleepers that I think that I'd love to see, that I think have a chance to do some upset damage. One Cut of the Dead, one of our favorites.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Which is number 24 on their list. Anna and the Apocalypse.
Oh, okay, good.
Which is 22nd, and Pontypool, which is 17. I don't know Pontypool is like possessed people or people who are zombie like.
There's much zombies.
I don't remember
as 28 days
seeing
later.
any of the people in Pontypool though.
They kind of there was a lot of
Stephen McHattie, giving you radio DJ. I don't remember
They come into the radio
else.
station at some point.
Oh, do they?
They do, yeah. And they're smearing up against the window.
It is for sure.
Yeah.
What about Zombievers? Is that on there anywhere?
No, Zombievers didn't make it.
I'm gonna write it in.
Yeah. There's a movie that's like, how did
Zombieland out and put Zombievers?
Kick out zombie. Yeah. Well, one of the ones that's like, how did this one get in? Is Prince of Darkness. It's like that's a Gate to Hell movie, not a zombie movie. I guess there are some dead people, so that's like, I don't know how long that's gonna last.
Is Blue Velvet on the list then?
No.
Oh my gosh, Joseph's like,
sorry,
Velvet.
Joseph.
Yeah,
sorry. Crossover classic. Not really a zombie movie. We're gonna include it anyways. The snubs, I think, 3 that didn't make it in that I thought would have been good. In addition to Zombievers, Overlord, which is essentially Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Cargo, which is Martin Freeman in the Australian outback, and Blood Quantum, which is indigenous tribes versus the undead. And in this case, the indigenous tribes are immune. And so they're and they're like, are we going to take all these white folks into their camp after all they've done to us over all these centuries? It was a very interesting movie. That didn't make the list. And maybe it's just because it wasn't as seen.
I think what I'm surprised to see not on this list, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I believe both of them like the movie, is The Sadness.
Oh yeah,
the most recent zombie movie.
Well,
right?
just as well not to have it on there.
Oh yeah, I would say it's garbage, but they liked it.
They liked it, which is it tells you that there's a broad swath of people of what people expect out of their horror films, us included.
But
and when does this happen?
This happens. We're going to record on Sunday.
Oh, okay. So soon.
First one, and then there'll probably be a second one, and then they'll post it. So the ones that I think I would put on upset alert that I think that it probably might get knocked out earlier than expected. Serpent in the Rainbow.
No, I love Serpent in the Rainbow.
So Liz and I might go to bed. So this is
about. Oh no.
Yeah.
It was
Zombieland probably is probably ranked higher than I think it's I think it's.
These are not ranked. I'm reading her email.
Okay.
These are not ranked. No.
Okay. Well, but movies that I think that get knocked out. Yeah. I think Day of the Dead's not going to last particularly long, because it's not the strongest of Romero's fare. And I walked with the zombie because it's really sleepy and slow.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Oh, there's 2 I haven't seen. That's one of them, and I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah. Then there's a film that I would say is Happy to Be There, because like every now and then you get a Middle Tennessee state or a Appalachian State or
Gonzaga
Furman.
Solid every year.
Well, Gonzaga used to be the Happy to Be There, and now they're Godzilla, right? They're always due for a deep run. But Resident Evil is like, hey, nice knowing you. You'll be around for one fight, and then you're out. I still need to see Juan of the Dead. I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen White Zombie.
I haven't seen White Zombie. Juan of the Dead's kind of fun, actually.
I've heard it's really good. So that's on I might watch it tonight. I just watched, in order to get up to speed, I watched Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
That's the one I have to watch.
I haven't seen
it's
that one.
kind of there's a lot of overacting in that thing. It's a
it
1972
old? Yeah,
movie,
okay.
it's 72 movie, but it's
Oh.
like but it's very thespian. There's a lot of people who are very thespian-y.
Okay.
But
I
it
took it
doesn't end the way you
very
would
Actors.
expect.
Like-
Yeah. Well, they also play actors.
Yeah.
I'm acting. And I just saw Fido, which was solid
That was
and
okay.
fun.
Yeah.
I thought it started out stronger than it ended, and then Warm Bodies, which is a good movie, but it's not my type of movie. It's like this is for it's a
Girls,
romance
like
zombie. It's
tweens.
yes, it's like a very handsome Christopher Holt, I think.
Nicholas Holt
Nicholas Holt.
from
Nicholas
The
Holt.
Menu.
Yeah, and he's great in it, but it's like, and he's getting more human.
It's like YA horror.
Yeah, it is very, very YA. It's like not pitched to me. So I don't know. It's like in my bracket, it ain't going very far. But that's a preview of what you can expect. So that will actually not be recorded by us.
Right.
But it's going to be recorded by the
But
Jersey Ghouls.
They'll be cross-posting on our site, and
Yeah, I think so. And we'll see whether what kind of sharing. I'll probably I'll link their our recording from them on our site. So
cool.
Yeah. So
Stay tuned.
with that, I think I will close out in the immoral words of the late great David Bowie. Put on your red shoes. Come on, ladies. Let's dance. Because March Madness and the Cinderella going
It's
to the
the
ball.
dance.
It's the
That's
dance.
a long basketball metaphor.
It is, but
Eric's going to the dance.
One dancing with the ladies, Liz and
I
Marissa
love
and
it.
Jackie.
I
We're
love
doing it.
That was
I love
perfect.
it.
That was great.
Okay.
The Masters of Horror.